So I think that like authenticity is something that comes up a lot. Who are we all being authentic to? And I've said this from the very beginning that Malai is authentic to myself. I'm coming from a perspective of a very unique perspective of being first generation Indian American, growing up here, being Gujarati, and that like I don't want there to be a certain type of person to only enjoy these flavors. I want it to be as mainstream as possible. I want as many people as possible to enjoy these flavors for what they are. I want Malai to be everyone's favorite ice cream, not their favorite Indian ice cream.
Why hello there food lovers and welcome to the Hungry Immigrant. I'm your host Abang Brian, a chef, food researcher, reality TV star, and a guy who believes that every dish tells a story. This is where we uncover the stories behind the flavors, the people shaping our culinary world, and the dishes that bring us all together. From hidden street stalls to Michelin-starred kitchens, we dive into tastes, traditions, and untold stories of food across borders. So grab a seat, bring your appetite, and let's feast on culture, one bite at a time. They told her to stick to vanilla, so she gave them saffron, rose, and cardamom instead. This special episode of The Hungry Immigrant is brought to you in partnership with Neerja PR and was shot on location at the Brown Girl Clubhouse, right in the heart and heat of New York City. We sit down with Pooja Bavishi, founder of Malai Ice Cream, who's redefining what dessert can be and who gets to belong in every bite. From Gujarati kitchens to freezer aisles across America, Pooja isn't just making ice cream, she's making space, sweet, spicy, and unapologetically bold space for culture, identity, and joy. She's not here to be your favorite Indian ice cream, she's just here to be your favorite ice cream, period. So let's dig in. We are back in New York City!
Woo!
And we are delighted to have a guest today who I reached out randomly. Again, another leap of faith to connect with Asian people all around the world. When I reached out to this person was because I saw her amazing cookbook and her amazing approach to incorporating spices, which is very true to her Indian heritage, into something that is very accessible to all Americans, which is ice cream.
Right.
And so we have Pooja from Malai. First of all, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad that you reached out randomly.
Yes, and I think the universe works in brilliant ways to bring amazing people together.
I agree.
I think I'm kind of amazing, but you're definitely amazing.
Yeah, no, I love everything. I'm so honored to be on this podcast.
Let's dive right into it. For people who has not been to Malai or experienced any of your pop-ups or your ice cream, what is Malai?
So Malai is an ice cream company. What we're trying to do is we're trying to revolutionize ice cream by introducing South Asian flavors and mainstreaming these flavors for everyone. The thought is really, as a first generation Indian American, that these flavors are something that I grew up with and something that billions of people around the world enjoy on a daily basis. But we're still so otherized and so exoticized in this country. And ice cream as a whole is such a stagnant industry where you go in and you expect to see certain flavors, but why not have a neighborhood ice cream shop have a masala chai or a rose ice cream, and that's what you grow up with instead. Those are the memories that you're making. And so that's the experience that we're trying to deliver on.
And what is the meaning of Malai?
Malai means cream. It can also figuratively translate to cream of the crop.
When I Googled it, I was like, crème à la crème.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's a good name for an ice cream company.
And one of the reasons why I gravitated to the name Malai, and when I was scrolling on Instagram, it came out, it's because I'm from Malaysia. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people mistaken us by calling us Malay, because I lived in France for a very long time. And the word for Malaysian people are Malaysian. In Malaysia, you have different ethnic groups, including the Malay people, who are called Malay. So I was like, wait, is she putting Malay flavors in ice cream?
Interesting.
Then I read into it further and I was like, oh my God, she's South Asian. And then like, this is a very interesting, and I went down a rabbit hole with it.
Right.
Lo and behold, here we are talking about spices and ice cream. But where did that inspiration come from? Because as I was saying earlier on, for at least the general public, spices are meant for savory dishes.
Right.
Where did the inspiration come from and where did the bravery come from to incorporate the spices into a dessert?
Well, I think that there's always been kind of two main parallels in my life. One is that I've always been so curious about my cultural heritage. I'm born and brought up in the States, and I lived a very suburban American life, like I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and went to high school, like did all the things that anyone would do, but was very Indian at home.
What does that mean?
I think that it manifested in a lot of different ways, but it certainly manifested through food, where we would, a couple nights a week, we would have our pastas and our tacos and our things like that. But like the main thing that my mom would cook would be our regional Gujarati Indian food. We went to like cultural events and we spoke the language and we went to Bollywood movies. It was a very Indian American household because I lived this hybrid life. I never really had this like embarrassment about my culture or my heritage. I only had this deep curiosity that I couldn't get enough of it. It was almost as if I had this nostalgia for my parents growing up in India. I didn't get to experience that in the way that they did. I will never get to experience that in the way that they did. And I always had a curiosity and like a passion for cooking and desserts too. That was another parallel in my life. I loved making desserts. I loved the hospitality behind desserts and being able to share something that you've made and that it will never make someone unhappy, right? Like a dessert will never make someone unhappy. And so it was really this like confluence of these two things that came together at a certain point in my life. I'm not culinarily trained. Mm-hmm. I continued to be a hobbyist when it came to desserts and food making and dessert making throughout my college years, throughout my early career. But really, like, I wanted to eventually share this idea of like, making my own desserts with other people. And that came to be when I made ice cream. My pantry is filled with Indian spices, like my spice cabinet, like whatever we want to call it, right? Like my little shelf is filled with Indian spices. There's no separation there. There's not like, these are my Indian spices and these are not. These are the spices that I knew and loved. And when I made ice cream, I flavored it with a spice, right? Like I flavored it with an Indian spice. And I think that's when I realized that like, this isn't done before, to your point, right? This isn't really done. It's done in the ethnic market, right? Mm-hmm. It's done in the international aisle of the grocery store, but like that was changing. And I realized that like, you can't really get this in a mainstream way. And why not, right? Like, why not? Why isn't this presented in a way that is really fun and accessible, and everyone has an ice cream story and everyone has an ice cream memory, and there's no one that doesn't like ice cream? Why not present it in that way?
So it was like a medium that can connect people and is accessible to everyone.
Absolutely.
What is one spice that has surprised you that everyone has been so open to?
Well, fenugreek is actually the one that surprised me the most, because fenugreek seeds, to me growing up, my mom would soak them in water and you drink it in the morning, and it has this like metallic-y bitter taste to it that's supposed to
cleanse
do
something.
All the good things in your body.
Yes.
And I would dread it, right? Like I would dread having that in the morning, and I would like gulp it down as fast as possible. But mixed with dairy and sweetener, right? Sugar, it takes on this mapley flavor that's so nuanced and so interesting, because it still has those slightly bitter notes to it.
Oh, I can see that.
And it honestly like tastes like Saturday morning pancakes. Like it tastes, it's like so nostalgic and so familiar.
Might it have a little bit of a smokiness to it also?
There's like I would say that like that bitterness, like that little tannicness is like, it's really interesting and like how it finishes. But that initial flavor that you get is maple. It's like brown sugary, it's caramelized sugar, right? Right. It's so delicious, and I wasn't expecting that at all.
Let's backtrack a little bit. Let's go down a rabbit hole.
Okay,
because
great.
like every episode we have different people, and I like to talk about different things. And of course, first of all, are you okay with being called the ice cream lady? I love ice cream lady is coming down. And like was like planning this whole day, because we have a lot of interviews today, and Sarah, my sister, was like, "What are we interviewing first?" Ice cream lady, and she's bringing ice cream, and we were like so excited. And by the way, it's still not midday yet, and I was like, "Why not? Why not ice cream for
ice cream for breakfast?" Yeah.
But let's go down this rabbit hole of ice cream, gelato, sorbet, and kulfi. That's one of the desserts that I could think of that is Indian, that's similar to ice cream, right?
Yeah.
First of all, let's go back to that. The first ice cream that you made, was it in those like barrels that with ice around?
No, I wasn't making it in 1950. People definitely still do that. It's super fun. I'm just kidding. But I was making it in my KitchenAid attachment. Okay. So it was like literally, even I started Malai on my KitchenAid attachment. Like,
big shout out to KitchenAid, please sponsor us.
Totally. But like literally I was like freezing. I got another freezer bowl, and like I would change them out in the freezer every single night. And that's how I literally started Malai. Like it wasn't like a fancy machine or anything like that. So in terms of ice cream, the ice cream in America that we know and love is actually European style ice cream. And so European style ice cream is custard based. And so it has egg yolks to enrich it, to stabilizer, it's an emulsifier. It's really rich. It has, French vanilla ice cream, you can see that yellow tint to it because of the egg yolks. And it really holds its shape. It doesn't melt as quickly. Haagen-Dazs is a custard style ice cream. But there's also an American style ice cream, which wasn't used very widely until probably the last decade, 15 years, which is an eggless style of ice cream. And then within American style ice cream, you also have Philadelphia style. Okay, and Philadelphia style is not called Philadelphia because of the city. It's called Philadelphia because of the brand of cream cheese. You put cream cheese in the ice cream. It acts like a stabilizer and an emulsifier, just like egg yolks do. But it adds this really nice tang to the ice cream and a little bit of saltiness that really rounds out the flavor. That's the kind of style of ice cream that Malai uses. So I tested everything when I was testing ice cream very early on in Malai, and I really love this nuance that cream cheese gave. And obviously the proportions are a little bit, we have our own custom proprietary ice cream mix, but it is a Philadelphia style ice cream, which is very, very interesting. Right. The difference between ice cream and kulfi, we also have kulfi at Malai. So we have ice cream and we also have kulfi, is that kulfi is not churned. There's no air in it. So whatever base that you make, whatever flavored base, it's a liquid base and you're pouring it into mold and you're freezing it. And so what you get is slightly icy, which I know that always sounds like a bad thing when it comes to frozen dessert, but it adds a really nice chewiness. And then it also melts into creaminess because there's more product per bite, right? There's no air in it. Those are the two different things that we make at Malai when it comes to frozen desserts. There's the ice cream where we do churn air into it. And then there is the kulfi. When it comes to ice cream, we actually use a gelato maker to make our ice cream. I don't know why.
And gelato is different from ice cream because?
There's no FDA difference.
Okay.
The FDA doesn't recognize the difference between gelato and ice cream. There is a certain, we have to hit a certain percentage of milk solids and milk fat and things like that when it comes to meeting the FDA standard of ice cream, which we do. And so we meet the FDA standard of ice cream. But everything else, if you don't meet the FDA standard of ice cream, it's labeled as frozen dessert.
That was what I was going to get at. A lot of y'all don't know that you're not even eating ice cream because when you go to the frozen dessert aisle, there are a lot of desserts that you are eating now that you think it's ice cream, but it's labeled as frozen dessert. And the reason why it's labeled frozen dessert because it's not actually full of... To me, a lot of traditional dishes, traditional desserts, for example, have goodness in them. The richness of eggs, balance of the milk, the calcium, whatever not, right? But it's expensive.
Yeah.
What a lot of these companies are doing is replacing that, and that's the reason why they're called frozen desserts, not even ice cream. So be very careful what you're feeding your children because I don't get myself in a lawsuit. I'm not going to mention names, but just be very, very particular about the labeling. Just look at the labels.
Well, the other really interesting thing about ice cream is that a main ingredient in ice cream is the air. Yeah, right? Yeah. And so air is free. And so the amount of air that you churn into ice cream will also affect the end quality of the product. Technically, again, getting very ice cream geeky, that is called Overrun. And so a lot of ice cream brands on the shelf will have anywhere between a 50 and 100% overrun. So when you have 100% overrun, there's as much air as there is product, right? And so those are the ice creams that you put it in your mouth and it almost completely dissipates, right? The flavor just kind of goes away. Yeah. There's something really satisfying about that too. I think there's a market for everything.
But it's cheaper to produce.
But absolutely, because air doesn't cost money, right? And so we are at a just under a 30% overrun product.
Oh, wow.
And so we have about 70 to 75% product in there. And so when a lot of people tell us that our ice cream tastes like kulfi, the reason for that is what I just said when I said with kulfi, there's no air in there. You're getting 100% product, right? And there's a lot of artisanal brands out there that are super popular right now that are also at that 30% overrun, which is why that they're so satisfying and a little bit more expensive.
Is it on the label?
Overrun is never on a label.
Right. So how would you know?
You would probably know because of the price.
Yeah. Okay. So don't be kidding yourself when you get something that you think is super delicious but it's super cheap. It's because of air. Okay. And so the last one is sorbet.
Yeah.
What is sorbet?
So sorbet is a dairy-free, water-based.
So it's like shaved ice?
It's not like shaved ice because you still churn the air into it. And shaved ice is you're literally shaving ice. So the texture will be different. Sorbet should be, if it's made well, should actually be super creamy. Yeah. And we'll have like that liquid sugar in there as well to help with the scoopability.
And it's not custard based, right?
No, there's no eggs in it. There's no dairy in it. Yeah. Sorbets will always be water based. So there will always be dairy free.
So is sorbet more healthy and better for your waist?
You know, healthy versus not is not something that I am qualified to talk about.
Right. No, but how do you balance that? Because you're the ice cream lady and you're fine. You're fine.
I'm fine.
You're fine.
I mean, just like anyone.
Because people will go like, you know what, I'm on diet, I'm not going to eat ice cream.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that?
When someone comes in for ice cream, they're looking for a moment of joy, right? They're looking for like some kind of escape from their life to like be really satiated and really enjoy themselves. That's why they're coming into an ice cream shop. It's a very social food. There's a lot of first dates at our ice cream shop. There's a lot of parents coming in with their kids. There's a lot of friends coming in together. And so there's this moment that you're providing them that is supposed to be fun and joyful. And so yes, if you're on a diet, then like I'm not saying that like our ice cream is healthy, but I am saying that our ice cream is very good, right? Like it has really good ingredients. It is made with care. We take a lot of pride in what we put into our ice cream. And so like, again, you don't need a lot to be satiated because we do all of that stuff on the back end. We take all this care on the back end. So have a little, have a little, enjoy yourself.
I think you hit the nail on the head there because it's about moments.
Right.
And I think when you share food and you eat food with people, there are studies out there that shows that you will never overeat if you eat with others.
So interesting.
And you will never overeat when it's like moments of joy that you're celebrating. It's the food. The food is a medium, a carrier of the feelings and emotions or the celebrations that you're having. And usually when you eat alone, that's when people get into trouble. Interesting. So like, I mean, if you come into an ice cream shop with someone, I don't think you're going to put on weight.
But also like if you're coming to an ice cream shop alone, also like even like for anyone, right? Like they're looking for this momentary moment of bliss, right? Mm-hmm. Of joy. Like they are looking for that. Like you don't come into an ice cream shop otherwise, right? An ice cream shop just carries ice cream. That's what you want your local neighborhood ice cream shop to provide for you. Whether you're coming in alone, you're coming in with friends or anything. So like that's like, it's not about the calories. It's not about like whether or not this is good for you or not. Like this is like look, like I'm not saying that it's a diet food, but I am saying that we are very intentional about our ingredients. We are very intentional about our sourcing, and we try to make the best quality product out there. And so for that reason, you shouldn't have to feel bad about eating our ice cream.
Hey guys, just wanted to take a moment to share with you that this episode of The Hungry Immigrant is made possible thanks to our incredible partner, Neerja PR, that amplifies South Asian voices through bold storytelling. We're also recording right here in the BG Clubhouse, Brown Girl Magazine's vibrant creative studio and community space in the heart of New York City. More than just a location, the Clubhouse is where the digital world comes to life, hosting pop-ups, panels, brand activations, and intimate gatherings that center around South Asian stories, creators, and culture. So whether you're here to cook, collaborate, or just to connect, know that this space is built for community and creativity to collide. Let's make more noise, tell our stories, and keep the flavors bold. Talking about ice cream, so like you've got 3 outlets now. One in DC, there's one in New York, Brooklyn.
Yep.
And then the new one was in Philadelphia. And
correct.
I don't know, maybe something is coming soon. We don't want to jinx it, but let's hope something is coming soon. In the month of July, if there's good news, just stay tuned to your social media.
Yeah.
Definitely there'll be a good announcement. But before that, if people are not within these vicinities, you can probably get the ice creams in the supermarkets.
You can get ice cream in grocery stores in the Northeast, and then we also ship nationwide. So you can order on Goldbelly, and we'll get it to you by the next week.
Or if not, if you want to make your own ice creams, there is a cookbook. So this cookbook is not just on ice creams. It's like frozen desserts inspired by Southeast Asian flavors. It's called Malai. And I love how true to the color that is very celebratory of your heritage.
Yeah.
It is, right? Purple and gold.
I mean, I just gravitated toward like the brightness of it.
Yeah. So like what can someone expect if they would purchase this book?
Yeah, so there's a lot of like our classic Malai flavors in there, ice cream flavors, including our most popular rose with cinnamon roasted almonds, masala chai, mango and cream. There's also newer flavors in there. We have like a nimbu pani sorbet, which is like a spiced lemonade sorbet. We have a cinnamon water sorbet. We have dairy-free ice cream. But I think my favorite chapter in there is ice cream desserts, where you can like combine ice cream or even buy ice cream,
Right.
and make it into a showstopper dessert, which I think is really fun. I know ice cream cookbooks can be a little intimidating because you might think that you need an ice cream maker to purchase a cookbook.
Yeah.
And some of our recipes do require an ice cream maker. I'm not saying that they don't, but I tried to be really mindful of like shortcut versions or just being able to buy the ice cream. There's baked goods in there. There's toppings in there that you can utilize in other ways.
Yeah. And like, what is one recipe in here that everyone needs to try?
I think it's the cover recipe, actually, and that's our fried ice cream pie. So it combines a couple of recipes. There's a fried ice cream pie, there's a spiced honey, and there's a spiced whipped cream.
Describe to someone who does not know what a fried ice cream pie is, because like from where it comes from, fried ice cream is ice cream that's frozen hard, dipped in batter, and deep fried.
Yum, right? So delicious and so satisfying. So this is based off of this restaurant that we went to a lot as when I was a kid, and they had fried ice cream, and it was made exactly like you said, right? It was frozen solid, it was deep, it was battered, it was deep fried, and it had this like crackly crust on it, and it was served with whipped cream and honey, and it was unbelievable. Like it was so good. It was hot, cold, like it was everything that like hit all the notes. So like that's hard to do though, right? Making a fried ice cream at home is labor intensive. It's messy. You might not get it right? No one wants to deep fry. And so I made a shortcut version, which is like it's a condensed milk ice cream, so you don't need an ice cream maker. So you just like whip cream and condensed milk together with some spice. And then instead of the battered and frying, I make brown butter and shallow fry cornflakes. So we have cornflakes on the top and bottom to get that same crunchiness, right?
More savoriness.
And that savoriness, exactly. And you get that nuttiness from the brown butter, and then you serve it with whipped cream and honey.
Yeah, so like cornflakes is something that I used to cheat a lot with. You know, when you make fancy desserts and you need fruitin.
Yeah.
I ain't going to make fruitin. And like,
you can buy it now, though.
You can buy it. Like, I'm like, no, I'm not going to go. Like, what do you have in the like your pantry, right? It's cornflakes. Instead of fruitin, I just use cornflakes.
Yeah, brilliant. That's great.
Peanut cheeky. I love this.
Oh, I know peanut cheeky.
So like for anyone who wants this book, where can they get it?
They can get it wherever books are sold.
Okay, including Amazon, including
Amazon,
everywhere.
any bookstore, any local bookstore, independent.
Wow. And she's even got like recommendations by Kristen Kish, Molly. Wow. Do you know them personally?
I do know them personally. You know, like what I love about these endorsements of the cookbook and like is that they're all just like big fans of our product of Malai, and I love that they wanted to share that. So I'm like so honored that they wanted to write a blurb for the book, but I'm also so proud of the fact that like they love the product. They love the ice cream.
Okay, so we are going to taste some of the ice cream, but because the ice cream is something that is cold, I like to bring to the world something hot.
All right.
So this is what we call the Sambal Survey. Usually what I do is I have two sambals that is made by two different people. Usually I buy them and then one's made by me.
Okay.
And I realized that I might get myself in a lot of hot soup because a lot of people have been liking mine and hating like one sambal that's made by a very famous person.
Oh.
Of course, we don't reveal the names, right? But still, I don't want to get into trouble. And of course, because you're vegetarian, I decided, hey, let's be nicer. Let's be nicer because this show is about uplifting the community, right? I basically cook these three sambals 3 different ways. 2 has the similar ingredients, just a different way of cooking it, and 1 has extra ingredients in it, but nothing has any animal product.
Okay.
So all I want you to do is taste it with me, tell me what you think, and choose your favorite.
Okay, let's do it.
So for the Sambal Survey, we also have the Malai Ice Cream. So you brought 3 flavors here, I see. There's rose with cinnamon and roasted almonds, cherry and black cardamom, and masala chai. Okay. Masala chai, I think everyone knows, but I'm really excited about the black cardamom.
Yeah, black cardamom's so interesting because it's a little bit smoky. It pairs so nicely with cherry.
So let's go with the first one. So I can't really remember now which one is which.
Oh.
But all 3 I made.
super tomatoey.
Huh.
No tomato.
There's no tomatoes in it. I was like, huh.
I like that one.
Okay, so this one is a little more oily.
It's also sweeter. This one is a little bit spicier. This one also packs some heat though.
Yeah. I think this one is the one that I use only dried chilies. So like dried chili, you have to cook it really out, and that's why there's that chili oil there.
Got it.
And this last one. Ah, okay. I know. So which is your favorite among the three?
We should have started with that one.
Right? I feel this is the most like
It's mild.
most mild one.
Yeah. I think I like this one the best.
Okay, so to find out which sambal that she chose, what's the actual ingredients, please check out the video that we put on Spotify and YouTube.
Love it.
I can tell you that this one actually, I was experimenting with it, and I like this process. I think whenever you develop recipes,
Yeah.
that's like the nerdy like rabbit hole that we go down
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
I feel that this one is very representative of something that's simple you eat with like nasi lemak or rice, right? But this is a very, to me, the most rounded flavor that you
I
can
wanna
have
eat it with rice.
fish or chicken or, you know what I'm saying? So we always serve it with coconut rice, right? With rice, it takes on a whole different kind of,
Yum.
right? Okay, while she's doing that, let's cool off with some of this ice cream.
Yeah, you have the ice cream. I'll have this.
Oh, you were not kidding. Because she was like, it's gonna melt. Because it's only like good stuff, right? So this is black cardamom and cherry. Oh, I can see why people say it's like Kulfi. Wow. Oh,
Come on.
it's the flavor behind. It's like the smokiness is the back of your mouth.
Yeah.
And it's not like smack in your face cherry also. Right? It's like hint of cherry.
Yeah, so the rose and the masala chai are both of like two of our most popular flavors, and then cherry black cardamom is seasonal, so that's the reason I brought that.
Let's try the
Help you.
rose and cinnamon. Rose is also something very not easy to play with because if just a little bit too much and it can go like really
Yeah, I want to know what your thoughts
like,
are here.
well, because I got Asian palate, I could do with a
little
little bit
sweetness?
more rose.
Oh,
I like the rose. But I think the almonds, the fat from the almond actually like balances out the
well, there's
rose.
cinnamon in there as well.
I don't get the cinnamon. Wait.
The cinnamon's on the almonds itself.
Yeah, it's nice. It's good. It's good. It's good. But the one thing that I really like about it, it's like it's melting.
Well,
Because for me, like ice cream that melts, it's real stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean,
when
it's
the
not-
ice cream sits outside and doesn't change shape, it's like, dude, that's not how ice cream is made, right? We've had ice cream, we've had sambal, and now it's the part of the show which I will invite you to contribute to also.
Okay.
It's called the Hungry Journal, where I travel everywhere and have this journal with me. In the front is a question that is left for you by the previous guest, and you'll be leaving one question for the next guest.
love that.
And then the back is I invite everyone to put in one recipe that they feel needs to be in a cookbook that represents us as immigrants around the world. If I one day come up with a Hungry Immigrant cookbook. So the question that's been left for you is from Bonnie, who is from Asian Heritage Week. She's based in Vietnam.
Okay.
And she asked, if you would have to pick a person to cook for you for the rest of your life, who would it be and why?
My mom.
Why?
Because there's no one that will remind me of home more than her cooking. Like, it doesn't matter if there's different versions, if there's fancier versions, her everything will be the best.
Yeah, and what's your mom's name?
Chaya.
Chaya, Auntie Chaya. Auntie Chaya is in the cookbook somewhere. I saw it just
She's
now.
right in the front.
Say, Auntie Chaya, where's Auntie Chaya? This is Auntie Chaya and Uncle. Their dad's
That's
name?
my dad. My dad's name is Kumar.
Uncle Kumar and Auntie Chaya. Hello.
I would also want to experience my grandmother's cooking. My mom's mom gave up cooking, gave up the kitchen, gave up her household stuff. Well, like when I was still like a young adult, and like the legends I hear about her cooking, like it's supposed to be legendary. And the same with my dad's mom. Like she died when I was so young, and that was a time when I didn't appreciate, Gujarati cooking, or, like the stuff that I had every single day. I didn't appreciate it even a little bit. Right. And I wish that I could go back in time, or there could be a time that like I could have a meal.
This is one thing that I learned in India, which I was also guilty of. When we talk about Indian food, everyone goes like, oh, it's Indian food. But India is so big. It's
so diverse.
Right? So when you say Gujarati food, what is Gujarati food?
So Gujarat is in the western part of India. Well, Gujaratis in general are vegetarian, and so the cuisine is vegetarian. One of the distinct features of Gujarati cuisine is that the climate is in Gujarat is very desert-like. There are rains that come. There's like monsoon, but otherwise it's like very dry and humid and hot. And because of that, it was like way back in history, often people who would work outside would have jaggery, which is like the natural sugar, to keep their blood sugar high and to make sure that they were able to like have enough energy. And because of that, you see jaggery in a lot of savory dishes in Gujarati cuisine. And so like we like our sweet salty together. And so like our dals, our lentils, our vegetables, like everything has a little bit of sweetness to it, which is like very interesting and very distinct from other Indian cuisines.
So now we go back to Malai, right? Malai is both a brand and a statement, I think. How does it reflect your identity as a South Asian woman and entrepreneur?
Well, Malai lets me tell my story. It's, something I was craving for so long, to be able to say out loud who I am and to take up that space. And Malai allows me to do that. Like I have never felt more unapologetically myself during this journey with Malai.
Like you mentioned that you are trying to introduce flavors, right, to something in a way that's more accessible for everybody, right? But with the new trends these days, with TikTok, with the younger generation, how do you stay true to somewhat tradition? Because what you're doing is not 100% tradition, right? But you're sticking to traditional flavors. How do you manage that with the next generation?
So I think that like authenticity is something that comes up a lot. Who are we all being authentic to? And I've said this from the very beginning, that Malai is authentic to myself. I'm coming from a perspective of a very unique perspective of being first generation Indian American, growing up here, being Gujarati. But even if someone mimicked the exact same things of like my growing up and those qualities and those characteristics, they also still lived a very different life than I did. That's why like we are a story-driven brand. We are telling stories through our food, and we hope you connect to the stories, which will allow you to connect to the flavors as well. And that like I don't want there to be a certain type of person to only enjoy these flavors. I want it to be as mainstream as possible. I want as many people as possible to enjoy these flavors for what they are, for us to become their favorite ice cream, not their favorite Indian ice cream.
Say that again.
I want Malai to be everyone's favorite ice cream, not their favorite Indian ice cream.
Wow. I think that is very meaningful. And I think that sharing a part of who we are and making it accessible really does show people that, we're not all that different. It's with the otherness, right? So what you're doing is truly taking away the otherness, because it's not an Indian ice cream, it's just ice cream.
It's just ice cream.
Let's talk about the flavors. Is there one particular flavor that was absolutely difficult to put across?
So the rose with cinnamon roasted almonds is actually our most popular flavor. We have over 65 flavors now, and we scoop 12 at a time. And rose is the only one that doesn't come off menu because it's so popular. Yeah. And I actually, 10 years ago when I started Malai, it's 10 years old now, wow. I really was struggling with whether or not I should launch this flavor, because rose is something super ubiquitous to me, and growing up, and rose flavored ice cream was always around, but it's not common, right? And the Western palate. And so I was really debating whether or not I should launch this flavor. But since that first day in 2015 that I launched it, to this day, it's remained our most popular.
Wow, congratulations. Yeah. And I think for people who are listening in, rose water is something that is very fun to play with. In desserts, it lends itself quite, for me, easily to me. Because it's floral, it mimics, if you use chamomile in anything, it's something it's a flower, right? It gives that floral, but it can be potpourri if there's too much of it. I think that it also lends itself to savory dishes, which I've seen in a lot of Indian cuisine as well. There's a certain rice that you put a little bit of rose water in it, and it makes all that difference. I invite everyone to explore rose water. just because it's something that has never been mentioned before on the show, and I think that it deserves some sort of limelight.
It's such a beautiful flavor, and it doesn't just have to be associated with perfume.
Okay, so my very last question for you
Yes.
will be after this segment,
Okay.
which will wrap up the show in terms of where is Malai going, what is success for Malai for you, and how can we support you. But before that, this is a segment we call Hungry Questions. Go-to comfort dessert.
Ooh, chocolate chip cookie.
Most underrated spice in dessert.
Fennel seeds.
Kulfi, cheesecake, or ice cream.
Ice cream.
Favorite time of day for ice cream? Midnight, daytime?
All of the above.
If you could open Malai in anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I have so many answers to this question.
What?
It would be California, it would be Texas, it would be London, it would be Bombay, it would be Dubai.
If your life was a dessert, what is it? And why?
Like maybe it's a churro. A churro is a good example. That like it's a path, but there are ridges. There's some valleys, there's some peaks, but like we're chugging along. And if we did have this swirly donut, like we're going in all these different directions, but we're coming to this one end goal.
One last one. What flavor captures where you are in life right now?
So the gulab jamun ice cream, which is in the cookbook, as well as in stores right now in pints, it captures where I am in life right now because the gulab jamun ice cream is something that I wanted to create very early on in the Malai journey. I really, really wanted to like capture the essence of my favorite Indian dessert in the ice cream, and I just couldn't get it. There was like always something off. And I was determined to make it happen for the cookbook. It was the one that I tested the most.
Gulab jamun can be very, very sweet.
It can be very sweet, but there's also so much going on, right? There's saffron, there's cardamom, there's rose water, there's the actual donut part of it, and you want to like get the essence of all of those things when you're making an ice cream. And I'm so proud of the recipe that's in there, and it's like it almost represents the journey that we've come to so far, like that I've been on this entire time, that like I'm able to not only create this for the shops and for the brand, but I'm able to create it for you to have at home. That means a lot to me.
Right, and so that's where you are in life. And I think with the churro and the gulab jamun, what's next for you? And how can we support that journey?
So immediately what's next is that I'm going to be on Cookbook Tour. We have some really fun stops with really, really stellar, like my brand role models, my role models in general moderators, with like Malai is moderating an event in Chicago. Kristen Kish is moderating an event here in New York. We're doing 2 events in Texas. We're doing an event in Philadelphia with Jen Carroll. Like I'm so excited to see everyone and to like meet people in person. But long-term vision, like I do want to get Malai to as many people as possible. I do want Malai to be mainstreamed. I want Malai to be a household name. And I want to be your favorite ice cream.
With that, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. The dates and the locations for the book tour we will put up on our social media. It's on your social media as well. Your socials are?
Our Instagram is Malai_ice cream.
Okay, so follow them, get all the dates. If I'm in town, I'll definitely be there in the crowd. And I'll be the person going, ice cream lady, ice cream lady. Get the books, get the ice cream. Go to your grocers, your favorite grocers. If you don't see Malai, go to the manager, ask for it. That will help a lot, right?
Thank you so
Malai's
much.
Journey. And with that, I wish you the sweetest of success. And thank you for joining us on The Hungry Immigrant. For everyone out there, as usual, I will always invite everyone to keep their plates adventurous and their hearts open. My name is Abang Brian. This is The Hungry Immigrant. As this episode comes to an end, I would like to take the opportunity to thank our incredible partner, Neerja PR, as well as BG Clubhouse for helping us make this episode possible. And to everyone else, Terima kasih and thank you for joining us on another culinary journey. Just by tuning in, you're already helping us to keep our stories, our flavors, and our heritage alive. But the reality is, our culture is fast disappearing. And when we lose it, we lose a part of who we are. So if this episode resonated with you, I have just one small favor to ask. Hit that subscribe button and share this show. Talk about it with your friends, your family, or anyone who loves food, culture, and all the stories that bring us together. Let's keep these traditions alive, not just in history, but in our kitchens, our conversations, and our hearts. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Hungry Immigrant and my personal account at Abang Brian for behind-the-scene moments and extra bites from each episode. I'm Abang Brian, reminding you to always keep your plates adventurous and your hearts open.